Thank you for taking a look at my author page. I'm Simon Kettlewell, author of Bread for the Bourgeoisie. This must be about take 37 and shirt change 15, and as a last resort, I've moved into the garage with my bike. I want to tell you a little bit about the story in Bread for the Bourgeoisie. I am reliably informed that even though it has bread in the title, it's not likely to be in the bakery section in Amazon. But I want to read a little piece as well from the end of the first chapter, just to give you a flavour should you be interested in reading the rest. I chose the themes of trafficking and corruption between Eastern Europe and the West because I wanted to write a thriller. At the heart of the story, though, is a tale about love. It's about the bonds of family and the lengths that people will go to protect them. Mariana Ursu is a young woman in her late 20s, living in Transylvania, where a chunk of the book is based, and she sets out on a journey, albeit naively, to try and save her sister, who's trapped in the sex trade in London. And on this journey, Mariana discovers a courage she simply didn't know she possessed as she goes into a world where there is little or no conscience. I based the book in 1997, 8 years after the fall of communism, because Romania in the rural areas was falling apart. Ceausescu's infrastructure had gone, unemployment was rising, and the young people were looking to the West. They saw the opulent images of the USA and the UK on the cable TV, and they wanted a slice of it, and who could blame them? And so many were buying the illegal passage and making the dangerous journey to the West. I haven't shied away either from the violence and sexual abuse that these women suffer. I read a number of testimonies written by and for trafficked women, and they are truly shocking. And it seems to me that the plight of the individual often gets lost in the media because of the greater atrocities across the world. And it felt incumbent that I should, if I'm writing a compelling, pacey novel, to pay real heed to the plight of these women and to raise awareness of something that is on the increase and not far from our own doorstep. And I hope the book does this. I'm going to read a little piece now from the end of chapter 1, and this is where Mariana Ursu, the main character, Vasile Moldovan, another Romanian, and Jack Stratton, an Englishman who becomes embroiled in the story, are running for their lives down into the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains away from 8 men trying to kill them. They run into the main street of a town called Tilda and are pursued by a crowd, and ahead of them lies an even greater danger than the one behind them. They dipped into a side street to the left, the snow smooth and uninterrupted where no vehicles had been able to pass. They pressed themselves against the wall and peered back around the corner. The crowd closed in, just a few hundred metres away. "It is over," Vasile said. How else could it be? Mikhail Voin and Dorit Moldovan were at the front now. Alongside them ran Victor Milesh, the head of the police, his assistant Anton Torok, and another policeman, Dimitri Petru, all carrying guns. Mariana let out a piercing scream, doubling over and gripping her belly as if in terrible pain. "They have Lydia! They have my Lydia!" Victor Milesh had the little girl by the arm, virtually dragging her behind him. "They have Joseph too," she said to Jack. "He is Lydia's father. He was my husband." Mikhail Voin held up his arm, and behind him the crowd stopped and fell immediately silent. Walking slowly and deliberately, he stood just a few metres ahead of the group. "I know you can hear me," Mikhail Voin's voice echoed along the empty street. "It is over. You are trapped here. There is nothing you can do." Barely able to conceal their delight, Victor Milesh and Anton Torok came and stood by Mikhail Voin. Victor Milesh still held Lydia, and her father, Joseph Inca, remained behind, handcuffed and held by Dimitri Petru. The crowd stood in silence. There were civilians with them now, and they were maybe 100 in total. It was easy to tell from their faces that they were unsure whether it was better to be in or out. This was the notorious Mikhail Voin, one of the Voin brothers, who held more sway than the police, than the remnants of the security forces. In the silence, Mikhail Voin held up his gun, and like a showman, he turned and walked back to Joseph Inca. Dimitri Petru unlocked the handcuffs. Taking his arm, Mikhail Voin walked Joseph Inca to the head of the crowd. Pressing his gun to the side of Joseph Inca's head, and with what looked like consummate ease, he forced Joseph to his knees. "I will shoot. I will count to 10. You come out with the money, and I will let you go." Crouching now behind the wall, Jack, Vasile and Mariana watched. Sensing that Mariana was about to react, Jack edged closer behind her. Instinctively, he grabbed and bunched the back of Mariana's coat in his fist. Wait, don't do anything yet. Think about it. This is what he wants. He's bluffing. He's not going to kill someone out in the street. Mariana didn't take her eyes off Lydia. This is Romania, Jack. He is a Voin. Joseph is Lydia's father. They will kill him. He is showing strength. We can give them the money. It's all they want. I have to save Lydia. It is why I came home. If they take the money for Lydia, then it is enough. Mikhail Voin began counting. I am waiting. Jack felt Mariana's body stiffen, ready to move. He gripped her coat even tighter. If you show yourself, they will kill you. Why would they let you live? They have Lydia. Her life is more than mine. You cannot know that. You do not have a child. Then you have to make a choice, Mariana. I cannot make another choice like this. It is another life. He was my husband. He is Lydia's father. You cannot forget these things. I have left anchor in the UK. It is enough. Mikhail Voin paused at 5. I am still waiting. Jack slowly let go of Mariana's coat. Mariana, you must choose now. Mikhail Voin reached 2 and paused. 1. Jack backed away from Mariana. It was her call. The air was heavy with her dilemma. She took a deep breath. She was poised to go, and Jack closed his eyes. What else could she do? With an indisputable act of love, she was condemning them all. For several seconds there was silence, broken only now by a dog barking somewhere behind them. A sudden gust of icy wind blew along the street, rattling shutters and doors, and sending flurries of snow high into the air. And that's the end of chapter 1, and thank you for listening.